Rodan and Fields has become a affiliate only, like a one-tier compensation plan, and it sucks. It doesn't look good for our profession. This is what happens in a recession. Companies go under, companies make desperate decisions, they make big changes because they're desperate and they're trying to figure out a way to stay in business, which is probably what Rodan and Fields thought they could do or should do. I think it's an atrocious, god-awful, terrible decision because, again, you're screwing over the people that built the company. Who do you think brought those people to the table? Who do you think recruited all those people? If you don't know me, my name's John Melton, been in the network marketing profession for over 20 years. I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. And unfortunately, this is the ugly side of what we do. So if you're new, things happen. Companies go out of business. Companies make changes. In some cases, they become desperate and they make desperate decisions. I'll give you an example. My last company that I was with was shut down by the Federal Trade Commission. Boom, just like that, paycheck gone. So you can imagine that sucked. The company before that I was with, 2 companies ago, shut down all of their international markets. So does this stuff happen all the time? Yes. So stop with all the fear mongering. You know, I get people like, oh, this is the future of MLM. That's what they said when my last company was shut down by the FTC. They're like, all companies are going to be shut down. It's stupid. Now, I will say this. This is an opportunity for companies to pivot, to evolve with the times, because if you don't, and your company is not growing, your company is not investing in the future, your company is not, making the appropriate enhancements to the model, the plan, they're not recognizing leaders, they're not rolling out new products, they're not finding ways to stay relevant in this competitive environment. Look at this as an opportunity. We need leadership more now than ever. Would you agree? There's a lot of turmoil. There's a lot of crappy things going on right now. And again, I don't want to go down that path, but we are in a tough economic climate. And never, in my opinion, put all your eggs in one basket unless you're in a really good financial situation. This is why I'm a big fan of building a brand, having multiple income streams, because you never know. Remember, the money you're making in your home business, it's profits. It's not income. It's not salary. It's profits. They're going to fluctuate. They're going to be really high sometimes and really low sometimes. So make sure you save your money and you're smart with diversifying your income and investing the money if you're one of those lucky few that makes a lot of money. Don't just spend all the money you make because, again, that puts you in a desperate situation where you have to make those desperate decisions. You're seeing a lot of influencers and people that built a following that are making a lot of money, but they're not really leaders. Now, some are building teams and pouring into their organizations, and they are leading by example. They're incredible mentors and they're in the trenches with their teams. But then there's some people out there, they can talk a big game on social media because, again, they built that influence. They can sell anything. They love selling stuff. They can recruit on autopilot. But when push comes to shove, they're not very responsive. They're not very supportive of their teams. And I think we have to be honest right now is that this is prime time for people to step into their leadership. For those of you that really want to build a legacy income, you really want to build a network marketing business for the long term. And look, my heart goes out to these people that have to start all over, but I've had to do it multiple times. And let me tell you, every time it did suck. I'm not going to sit here and act like, just stay positive. I hate toxic positivity. And I also, by the way, hate vultures that do my heart goes out to Rodan and Fields distributors. I'm just so glad that my company is owned by this amazing person and my company. Shut up. People don't need to hear that right now. I'm sorry, but that is like the worst thing you can do. Oh, another low ticket MLM. Please don't do that. Oh, this is what happens with startups, or, oh, this is what happens with old school companies, or this is what happens with private equity. Listen, there are companies that are privately held, publicly held. There are companies there are so many different scenarios of companies that either got in trouble or went out of business. They went under. They were a pop and drop, a startup, a binary, a product company, a service company. They shut down their international markets. These things happen. And by the way, they happen in every industry. It's brutal. It makes all of us look bad. It doesn't look good to the normals, the normies. You know what the normies are? All the people that are not all up in MLM like all of you. See, so many of you are caught up in this drama because you're like, oh my gosh, all these companies. What do you mean all these companies? You mean 3 or 4 companies out of the thousands have changed their comp plan to affiliate. It's a bonehead decision. It's not smart. None of these companies are going to do better with affiliates than they would with leaders building teams. But again, you got to be careful who you listen to. You got to be careful who you follow. Most of you need to work on your optimism because you can't live in fear and scarcity. Blessing in disguise. Don't let this, if you still want to build a business in this profession, like imagine if I would have allowed my last company getting shut down with the FTC to discourage me from continuing with this amazing profession, or the company before that trying to sue me for $2.5 million. Imagine if I would have allowed that to stop me. And by the way, it almost did. It temporarily did. These things happen, but you can't live in fear. What if this happens in my company? I mean, what if you get struck by lightning? Can you imagine living your life like that? This is temporary. The economy, the condition we're in right now, the inflation, what's going on in the world, this is temporary. The current climate of what's going on with MLM, with the economy, it is what it is. It is what it is. Like, I would love to just say, oh, this is the last of it. No, this is probably not the last of it. Are other companies going to make this type of bonehead decision? Probably. But this is why companies have to continue to evolve. When it's a competitive environment, this is a time to step up. You have to maintain your optimism, your professionalism. Don't let fear mongering get the best of you. Don't let vultures get the best of you. And by the way, don't make rash decisions. As an individual, as a leader, as a company, you're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to evolve. But to live in fear that, all MLMs are going to do this, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Number one. Number two, to just assume that this is going to happen to your company because it happened to that. You can't live in that fear. You have to be okay with the fact that these things do happen, but this is why you build a brand. This is why you don't spend every dollar you're making. This is why you live below your means. And I know for some of us, that's hard. You're like, oh, I hate the word budget. Me too. Me too. But I can tell you the reason I was able to immediately replace my income when my last company was shut down with the FTC, because I did right by people. I built a brand. I built a reputation. I built influence. Again, I was with the same company for 2 years, 7,000 people on my team, and just like that, boom, all gone. Now, it wasn't the fault of the company, although you could say it was because the FTC did shut them down for specific reasons. But ultimately, whether the company makes this choice, which I think Rodan and Fields made a huge mistake, in my opinion. Now, there are some companies that love MLM and they still went under. They still went out of business. So it's not just that. There are a plethora of reasons companies go under or companies make changes. Some companies aren't necessarily changing from MLM to affiliate, but they are, cutting their comp plans in half. Brutal. It's brutal. But again, you can't control it. People will say, I'm going to start my own business because I can control it. You can't control. Listen, you don't have full control over anything. When I was a mortgage banker, all of my income was based on my efforts, right? I could control how much money I made, but I couldn't control the interest rates going up. I couldn't control the economy crashing. You're never fully in control. Again, this is why I've been talking about building a personal brand for over a decade. This is why I've been talking about multiple income streams. Now, multiple income streams does not mean multiple MLMs. That's also dumb, right? You'd be like the trench coat MLM person. Like, I got water filters. I've got makeup. I've got lotions, potions, pills, skincare. What you want? I got it all. No, also a bad idea. Don't be a vulture. Don't be one of those people that leads with fear mongering and, trying to scare people into joining your team. And, oh, everybody's coming over here. That's always the worst, right? Everybody's leaving. They're all coming here. But don't get it twisted. This is nothing new. These things have been happening for years and years. It sucks every time. The reason MLM works, the legit MLMs, this does not mean I'm an ambassador or a supporter of all MLMs. I get people that are like, I thought you support MLM. Why are you bashing my company? And I'm like, well, I love MLM. I love our profession. I love that it's personal development with a comp plan attached. I love the impact it's made on my life, the friendships, the people, the experiences, the freedom, the flexibility, the money, the travel, all the things that I've experienced because of this amazing profession, because of the person I become. I love it. Big fan. But that also means I'm going to call out bad actors. I'm also going to call out crappy companies. There's a reason a lot of people have MLM PTSD, and it's because of companies like Rodan and Fields doing what they just did. It sucks. It looks bad for our entire profession when a company does this, because now you got people going, see, MLM, MLM this and MLM. That's the problem with MLM. Okay.